Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino, who is not here today, was here this morning. Hopefully be back on Thursday afternoon. Well, he'll be on, hopefully, from his hotel room because he is traveling. So let's see who's here. S&P follow through close above the 50-day MA for George. Good afternoon, Patrick. Coco, what's fake price action? I assume PA means price action. The market is 100% rigged. What are you referring to exactly? Good evening, Anissa. Thank you for turning up. Hey, Christo, what's up? Got some do re mi tonight. Well, good job for you, Christo. Hey, P-Dub, what's up? How are you doing? Excuse me. Hold on one second. Ah, So, oh boy, what a back and forth day. You had FTX blow up. Started talking about that this morning, but then it blew up, and it's going to be like bailed, or it's going to be bailed out by Binance, whatever that stupid crypto, the largest fake crypto exchange in the world. Well, you want to talk about something that's garbage? There you go. So the cryptos are slowly dwindling. We're going to easily head down at some point to that 10 to 12K, if not lower. But that's where we sit. If the markets even dream of beating me, they better wake up and apologize. Old William? Yep, BTC's back to, it'll get there. Just be patient. Crypto market was a movie today. It was some interesting price action. Since Jacksonville we've never had price action reach back to the press conference level. Today was the first retest of the press conference price. George, just make sure you analyze both sides of the market so you know where to put your stop should there be a rollover. Don't get blinded by one side. I'm just saying that. And I say the same thing to the bears. Don't get blinded by one side. Make sure you're analyzing both sides. So from the bullish perspective, you know where it could tip and where you should put your stops. From the bearish perspective, you also know where new entries might come in, or if you're in a longer term position, your stops. Hello, options 22. We will see, William. We will see. So, let's see where we go. We had the only thing other this morning since we did the live stream was IBD, economic optimism, coming in worse than forecast and previous. And that's the general population. They survey people, and it's their view on the economy. So lots of negativity coming in on the economy. Tomorrow, during European session, we got Fed Williams speaking. We got mortgage information, like that's going to matter. It's already in the garbage. More so, it's going to be midterm results and everything with that. Just going to point this out. We got wholesale inventories at 9 Central. Crude numbers. Pay attention to that if you are in energy or crude. And then we got Barkin speaking at 10. But it's going to be more so midterm election results that could potentially move things more. And then we have CPI Thursday. CPI Thursday is going to be big. Market map, Tesla still down, Amazon contracting a little, Apple and Microsoft up in terms of your mega caps. Pretty mixed back and forth market today. Your materials, hope everybody watched the weekly sector overview. Basic material sector still ripping it. Gold ripping it. Put out a little quick video, but everybody watches the live stream already knows about gold. Gave some longer term levels though in it, so you might want to check it out still. Also, new podcast, Futures Egg with Jim Iorio got posted today. I was on with Jimmy last week. and talking about some longer term stuff. So give me some feedback on that. I hope everybody will at least tune in and check it out. You can either do it on Spotify or just check it out on the YouTube channel. Here you go. Big move in basic materials technology coming up too today. Energy, slight little contraction. Still 56.43. No big thing yet. Still in greed mode. We had, after the close, we had Disney, which was down. They did miss. Their took on more subscribers, but it looked like earnings per share and revenue both missed. AMC, when I looked at that, was down. Probably back to where it should be. Lucid was down. Affirm was down. Was not surprised with Affirm. Tomorrow morning, we got Roblox. About the only interesting thing, unless I'm hungry and I would like Wendy's. Does anybody here get a Frosty and dip fries from Wendy's into a Frosty? I never knew that was a thing, but my wife, who has one Frosty every 5 years, swears by fries and Frosties. Don't know. Tomorrow we got Rivian after the close. So just wondering about that. What do we have here? As George pointed out, a close back above the 50, and I use the Exponential, but this was a close we had back in October. It was also above the 50, and the 50 is flattening out now, so it's losing its importance. We're still in the bullish pattern with a trailing stop. The only bearish thing in sight is this is a valid potential double top. By the way, did anybody spot into this rally this morning? Hope the longer term viewers who are riding this little opening move up spotted this for take profits. Then we got some of the crypto carnage fallout. Then we got a little bounce back, but this was a valid double top. Hope you spotted that. Other than that, this is valid on a 1 hour close below 37.92.75. 37.60, 37.44, 37.28. In the bigger picture, where would that take us back? It would just potentially wipe out 3 days of gains and take us back to another key support level that was established last Thursday and Friday. So is this a double top that could potentially take it to new lows? No, it would then be a breakdown after that. And that is a potential. So, where do we sit? Let me scroll back through some comments. I think Binance wants to be the top trading platform and destroying a small company. Well, FTX was second, and looks like Binance was shorting the FTT token too, trying to obliterate it. So, but Binance don't even get me started on that one. The whole crypto thing will hopefully implode at some point and flush all this garbage out, so we can really get some order and semblance and non-Ponzi-ish back to the markets. And hopefully Tether will go also. I don't know where Gary the golfer is right now. 7-point swing back and forth on the Q, surge, then plunge, then surge from a double top on the Qs. Felt very orchestrated. It wasn't orchestrated. We just had a lot of volatility with the Bitcoin plummet. Again, the Bitcoin plummet. Can't say that was orchestrated. That was fallout from Bitcoin, which retested the lows back from June. Little bounce there. Little bounce. Still closing now back above the major support. But I'm watching for the next rollover. When you see stuff like this, is rarely one cockroach, meaning there's going to be a ripple effect from this. Most likely. And I've updated all my key levels. Very minor is 16,600, then 15,555. The more substantial is 13,733, and then a huge cluster between 9,900 and 12,000. Now remember, 12,000 is very key because that would fulfill the probabilities after the close below the 62.5. But that's on the upper end of the range, and I'm leaning now towards more on the lower end of the range. Just touching on that real quick. So, I mean, that'd be predicting what the CPI is going to come in. I'm up more with Bob that it will be a mixed CPI. And if you want my opinion, most people are looking for any excuse to buy the market still. Any excuse to buy the market. So as long as CPI is not screaming hot, I think people will find an excuse in the numbers to buy it. Let's see. We have the midterms on deck still, so let's get that out of the way tonight and tomorrow, at least to see where we stand with any undecided races, and then we'll focus on CPI because I want to see what the price action does overnight going into tomorrow. Hit the mic button. Hold on, let me catch up with some markets, everyone. Hold on one second. Well, thank you for watching it, P-Dubs. Hey, Gary's here, so you can talk to Gary right now. Coco, Wendy sucks. Coco, don't be so negative. They got square burgers. Yes, but only the chocolate frosty. Done it for decades. Your wife has good taste in food. Yeah, not obviously in men, but in food. Oh, is there another flavor other than a chocolate frosty? I never had anything but a chocolate frosty. They don't let me out much, so I don't get let out. I put a little of the frosty into the Wendy's chili. Oh boy. I did not see a double top on the Qs. Let's just glance at that real quick. I'll get to stocks again. Let me just double check. There might have been one. I just have to measure this out. There was one in the futures. I didn't measure this out going right into the close. And yes, it does eke out, but we have to test. And I'm going from the conservative side. And look, that takes it back. So yes, options 22, you do have a potential double top. 265.52 is the trigger point for a close below that. 262.74, 261.34, to roughly 260, which would return it exactly to reset this little run up from Friday. Reiterating for new people, since we keep getting more and more new people, this is not confirmed or triggered yet because you have a potential any potential pattern until it's at least confirmed / triggered. It's just potentiality. Does not mean go short. Just like a bullish thing does not mean go long until it's at least confirmed, preferably triggered. You have a really nice breakout area, by the way, going into tomorrow, 272 now, which was hit today. Really nice area. And then moving back, and I hope the people that were playing intraday spotted this key. Now, spotted this also shifting down to key support. The NASDAQ, you have the double, 10,928.75, 10,816, 10,756, 10,698. To the upside, the key stuff is this 4-hour 200 to today's highs. And then you can also, this is another great area with this really nice pausing bar. You can do the same thing back on the S&P. And that just reinforces Another key level we already had here, 11,305, then 11,380. The 11,380, interesting enough, right at this top area. So we had, if I draw a line across there, you'll see here, resistance, peaking below it, but then becoming support area. Resistance there, support here, resistance here. So that's a key resistance area now confirmed by a harmonic. Those are it. I'll just jump back to the S&P because you can do the same thing right here from these key lows back up here. So 338.87, and then look at this. Harmonic confirms a level already on the charts before, 3,906. So that's what you utilize to help you fine-tune levels. Potential double top in the Dow also. 32,836 is the trigger point. 32,591, 32,472, 32,354. Since the Dow, and then by the way, this still bigger double is in place also. This move up today has not invalidated it yet. On a continued move up tomorrow will be invalidated, but this is where we stand right now. Key support, even before that double triggers, is coming back at 32,910. My next target is 33,758. Russell, no double. Just key support 1805. You see that little dip below with the Bitcoin sell-off and then the snap back above, holding it on a closing basis. So that's still key support 1805. Break below that about 1790 to 1800. I'll break up. I'm going to bump this up just a bit going into tomorrow, about 1833. DAX continues the march higher, but DAX also, this is a potential double. It's a little sloppier because these hitches in it. We'll just go with the conservative targets right now. So there's your potential topping pattern below 13,582 on a closing basis. If I don't say that, it's always the case on a closing basis. You're welcome to front run a pattern once it confirms. That's on you. Notes, just back and forth. It's caught in this range. I'm watching 10.08 as resistance, 109.20 as support. Yes, the double bottom is still valid. Potential double bottom. Dollar index closing back down lower than the prior close. So watching now, focusing really on this breakdown play with this 107.46 being a short-term pattern. Still watching for weekly confirmation. VIX, finally a green day. Nothing else is changed. Key now, if we do get some overnight selling pressure to about 26.60. Crude, little double. First target hit, second target hit. This was still in play. This did not change it. See, this confirmed it with the little trade blow here and then just triggered all the way down. This was tough to get in. And this was also just a mess. So still watching for the pullback now to this 87.93 area. But that's about it. Gold, I put up the video today just discussing longer term levels. I won't rehash that here. Euro, still watching for that 101.80 area. Not only the key highs from mid-September, the double never stopped out. or invalidated. It needed a close below 97.099. Never happened. Or a trade below the 75. Never happened. I'm just keep ratcheting up the levels now. But still, the first target 101.83. Pound. Not much to talk about there. Unless we get back above 116.52. Bitcoin, which we already looked at, I'm watching to see where this closes. To see where it closes. Remember the low close. Let's see what the low weekly close is. Was around 18,800. Low daily close is about 18,462. So I'm paying attention to 18,462 for the overnight close. Tesla spiking below the next harmonic. This is getting a little overdone. So if we start getting a pretty substantial market rally, cycles at the bottom and oversold, watching for a snapback to the daily declining rotation zone and now the major breakdown zone, which is 200 to 205 area. Then I'll for another rollover play. By the way, a break above today's high and then followed through by a close is a very aggressive percent beat buy with a snapback to reconnect with the daily rotation zone. All right. Hello, Lauren. Where else do we sit? Michael, the DAX has been up 6 weeks straight. It either breaks up, or breaks down. I'm watching for the short-term breakdown play, and then we'll reassess it technically. Tether goes, it all goes. Well, there's a smart person. Lee, thank you for joining the channel. Tether goes, it all goes. I've been waiting for Tether to go for, what, a couple years now? And that will be, thank goodness, once Tether goes and flushes the crap out of it. Poop coin will head to zero. Gold explodes. I don't think Bitcoin's going to zero. It's going to suffer some major carnage, especially once Tether goes. There'll be a lot of liquidating. I agree with that. And we may well drop below 10. 10's my intermediate target. Then I will reassess there. So where's the next BTC rollover? It could happen. It could happen shortly when we get some fallouts from this FTX stuff. Is it safe to short the NASDAQ now? I'd say you have the one short-term pattern. I would wait for it to trigger. And that's a short-term pattern. It's a 1-hour pattern. Remember, I need to trade off of patterns and not just, is it safe to short? Well, I don't have a short without that pattern triggered. And that's a 1-hour pattern. Which is, I keep telling people, don't mistake your time frames. Keep time frames in mind. You got vanilla and strawberry Frosties out there in California? How are those? I can't imagine a strawberry Frosty. You do have those. So I need to get out more. Somebody better let me out of my little room more often. Boy, well, I do make it to Panera for my iced tea. Panera Sip Club. Free iced teas every day. I need a good companies with dividend while I stay long. Again, though, my major one was Intel. That was a fantastic. I'll do another scan and maybe I'll put some out. Especially, I'm going to roll out a little subscription thing, just minor, very low cost for people to help support YouTube, like from the YouTube subscription, so you can join the channel, on a monthly basis. And I might put out some some good plays for the people who support the very low cost stuff. Again, not expensive. Optional. I will keep the content free. Just looking for other ways for people to support the channel. So I think if the Republicans win, it's bearish on oil. Oil's more. Well, I don't have a comment on that. Bob has more thoughts on that. I think the short term is going to be more based off what OPEC says. Long term, it's still down for me once we get a substantial rollover play because of a global recession. Was 11 years, 9 days today since MF Global. I think that with exchange failure today. Well, thanks for putting that in there, Mike. George made a midterm bingo. Yes, I got your MF Global. Yep. Good reminder, Mike. Thank you for being here. Wow, we got some smart people. People have been around. Where else do we sit? Yeah, this volatility is insane. It is. This is one of the most volatile markets I've seen in a long time. Did I spot the confirmed daily double bottom in Swissy US dollar? I did not do my full FX review. And that is completely valid, Christoph. Thank you for pointing that out. Confirmed, not triggered. Still need. I'd wait for a daily close on this one. A 101.59 on a closing level. That's a pretty nice move, and I'd really focus on this second target because of the flat 200 right there, or the declining 200. Thank you, Christoph, for pointing that out. Sterling, welcome, welcome, welcome. A firm down. We'll get back to some stocks. Now, if anybody has stock requests, please type them in again. A firm. Thank you for playing. Now it looks like below key support, my next minor level 1022. This is going to bleed out slowly over. This is going to get pain. This is going to be a pain trade for when the recession gets full force. This is going to be a definite pain trade, but broken below key support. After hours, of course, we could still see a bounce back by tomorrow's open. But this is not something I'd want to be long at all. 1022, my next target. Harmonics are really helpful when you break to new highs or new lows also. For the people trying to learn them, very helpful. You want the VWAP on what? You're going to have a lot of different things unraveling now. Where do we sit? How does GTN and TUP drop on earnings to be up 2 days in a row? Because we're not out of the let's just keep buying the crap yet. P to E, I mean, this thing's gonna, this is just a mess, by the way. You got the gap fill, but this just all it did was return to breakdown levels. Can I look at NVAX? I haven't looked at this in a long time. You can see that. NVAX is just in a flagging channel pattern. Did they just do earnings? This wasn't on my radar screen. It's not one that I have anything to do with right now. Looks like they're up slightly post. Any rally, I'd be watching for this reconnection area. With this is just a flagging pattern going to the 50 against the long-term rotation zone, and any bounce, I'd have to look more at some of the fundamentals, but again, no P to E, negative EPS. Anything on this would be a rollover play for me still against the weekly rotation zone in this here. So I'd be watching for the next rollover play. The only way I could get at all short-term bullish would be a move above 25 to get the 50 out of the way and this channel then to be broken but that would be a return to like 28. It's not worth trading from my perspective. Great area if you're looking for, that's from the long side. If you're looking for a breakdown play, the next major level is minors about 1484, made more significant is 1368. Where do we sit? Check out the S&P. Find it. Give me the symbol you want, so I don't have to look everything up. I don't know the S&P 500 financials off the top of my head. Because I don't follow it regularly. The market rallied on it. Oh no. What do you mean, why are we still bullish? There's still things. A, you have seasonality. B, we have the potential flip of the House and Senate with the midterms. I'm still seeing people look for any excuse to buy going into year end. Why are we still bullish? Remember, people trade a lot off of sentiment. The earnings disaster is going to happen next quarter, even more so than this one. You got the year-end upside bias. You got the Thanksgiving upside bias. Unless we see a disaster either with the midterms or CPI, we could still see upwards price action before you get the next sell-off. No, Mike, I have to stream forever. I do have to stream forever. I can't leave the house ever again. Does DSU have a valid daily double bottom? This is valid. And, of course, triggered. That is valid. On any pullback, your keys pullback area is between 923 and 915 if it pulls back to your rising rotation zone, because this would be tough for reward to risk. Your stop level is still, you're the most, and I go off the most conservative stop for this channel. People are always, and when I teach it, I teach some other key stop levels. You always can use a higher stop level. I like to put in the conservative one would be a close below 894 or a trade through 889. A tighter stop would be, for me, a close below 906. So I just make it a close below $9. Here you're trading into this. It's where it's nice to look. This is not a full-blown clear path move. You have one pausing area right around the second target. It was triggered. It is slightly lower probability since it's the first time against the daily or the weekly rotation zone. I would not be surprised to see a pullback first. And no, that's not a stop out, a pullback before the move potentially higher. And you do have some unfilled gaps up here. This first target, it's so interesting the way things work. That does not mean it's higher probability because the first target's the same as this breakdown zone. I'm just would not ignore this first target because it's also a breakdown zone around 945, 955, and I'd focus on 945 and 955s, and I'd really utilize this high area for my final target right in front of 966 as it does extend. Yes, it's technically reversing this move, but you have a fair amount of selling pressure up here from before. So yes, those are your plays. Keep in mind on this, no P to E. It is a little riskier play. They are paying a decent dividend. I have not done any more financial, like fundamental analysis due diligence on this thing. Downside Tesla targets. Are you bearish on Tesla? I'd be expecting a bounce first, but the next targets, we have a cluster area at 180, 181. Key is 163. My key after a bounce, I'm going to show you, we have another longer term harmonic around 155. The 62.5 is 163, and you got the weekly 200. That's a pretty key target area on the next rollover play. For all the people who said we'll never get there, we'll see. Well, thank you for that, MJ. Look at ET. ET phone home. ET. Dividend yield, 8.5%. I'm just looking. Yeah, this could be interesting on a pullback. On a nice little pullback play. You have a very significant level right around 1150. On a pullback play, I could be very interested around 1150 for a potential pullback play. Thank you for putting that out there, George. Again, thank you, MJ. With the market green this week, I still notice more red than green. There is still, and these earnings, overall in macro, the earnings have not been good, but you still have a handful of companies trying to hold this thing up. Disney, by the way, coming down, look at this. Oh, boy. That's a Mr. Yuck. This is Mr. Yuck move for Disney. Could not get above the rotation zone again, rotating down. Where would be the next major targets? $85.70 and $81.17. Look at that with those lows right there. Look at this. Boom. So that would be my next key area to watch for, because it looks like this is going to break key support. So, is there a potential mini double top of the daily on Intel, or is that a triple? This is still a mini potential double top. It finally moved up high enough, again, stalling out against the 50. So yes, this is a potential. Completely valid. So this is also something, you know, trading around a core position. If this would trigger, I now have an area to watch for. I would not be aggressively adding back in should this trigger. And for selling something like more cash secured puts, that gives an area to watch for. Having trouble with that 50. Now, short term, if it does blow through this 50 like tomorrow, you could easily see a pop to this 29.80 and then potentially 30.36. Remember, but that is valid. That is completely valid. And I talked about this the other way. You could unwind if you're trading around a core position. Again, I have a video up there about it. Great area to either sell some calls against the 50 or unwind some of the positions. You got the pullback, another pop, pull back to the daily rotation zone, another rotation back up. If it was a re-entry here, unwind a little again here. And definitely, if you're in something short term and you break down below here, unless you're willing to ride it back down to the low area, would be taken more off the table. If you're in it for the long term, you can utilize these levels, as I said, for cash secured puts / building, or if you're looking to start a position. Again, why do I like Intel? It's not going anywhere. It pays a 5% dividend. You can trade around a core position. Yes, there will still be drops in Intel. So keep that in mind, but that's where it's great for harvesting some price action. Thanks for putting that out, Sterling. We'll see. Yes, they are at their target now. We shall see how long that lasts. They'll probably be jawboning if it starts pulling back a bit more in the short term. Track down some king crab for tonight. $70 for 2 legs. Jeez. Do you see TTW hold? TTWO still headed to 85. And keep in mind, anywhere in here is the bottoming level. Anywhere, this would be my final line in the sand. Yes, I still see this much lower. If it does not hold 85, watch out. You do not want to break below 85. And there is no great reversal pattern in here. It just broke key support. Now, any rally, this return to the daily rotation zone, and this is overdone. You could get some bounce plays in this, but this is not something a long-term bottoming pattern. If we get that close below 85.20, you could easily see a much more substantial pullback. Much more substantial. Remember, you still have a blazing high P to E ratio. So would I just blindly be buying it down at these levels? No. There is major support at these levels, though. HLF. Finally, I mean, this took forever to unwind. Ugh. Not in the near term, but in the longer term, I think you'll see before this all unravels, because they're going to get some pretty decent potential earnings compression next year. Any bounce plays would just be sells for me on Herbalife because I am watching for this to reconnect with the more of the $10 to $11 range longer term. Shorter term, it's getting a little oversold, but your any rallies would be back to the resistance. So would I be touching this? Not at all. Yeah, you'll get bounce plays, but this is another one that's gonna unravel still more. Yeah, it's the PDE's at least more sane, but this is not something I'd want to own long term. UNP, you have, that's a little close, but you get a move. This UNP, we're just going to use that. UNP holding this key support of 202 area. If it can hold that against the 50, you could see a nice little run. A nice little run to the upside in UNP. My overall my first target area to raise stops, I'd be utilizing this 50% harmonic 213. Next level, I'd be watching for a trailing stop would be 220.30, 220.35 area. And I would not ignore, even though it's in front of the 87.5, you got the 75 harmonic at this 227 area with the declining 200. So if you're trying to play something for the longer term, and that's if it continued to get above the 62.5, but this key area is the first rollover potential play. On a stop level with this breaking above after hours in the 200, as long as it holds roughly about 198 on a closing basis, that's a pretty decent, from my area, an aggressive stop. Why? Because if you erase this green bar, if you erase that and you get a close below this area, which is resistance becoming support, you could easily see another push downwards. So that could be a pretty decent reward to risk to the upside for an upside play. That could be interesting with a fairly decent tight stop. Boy, you guys are, oh. See, this is why we need to support the channel. Did you want HAL, Gary? HAL? There's a potential double top on here. Hindustan Aeronaut? Never traded it. There's your upside targets, and then yes, you do have a potential double top. You are in bullish mode. That is a valid potential double top winner earnings on the 10th. Would not ignore, if this did trigger the double top, again, I have no insight, but would focus on this target area with the rising 200. Other than that, and again, it's in defense and, electronic technology, aerospace, and defense. The key targets, the upside, if you're looking, the next minor area on a breakout play would be 2688, then 2737 to the upside. Google, Amazon, and Meta. The only thing with Google is if we start getting more of a year-end play would be a return to the breakdown zone and the weekly rotation zone. And testing the underside, I would not ignore this 200 weekly area right around 93, 93.30. Or would that put it on the daily? Am I interested in owning Google long term at this levels? No, not yet. It'd be a play to the upside, but they're poised for another rollover. There's no strong bottoming pattern just yet. And we should see continued, especially after we get some of this bullish bias out of the way, we should see continued lower prices. Amazon. Yeah. You can utilize this as a horribly messed up little thing because it's almost a horizontal channel with the same thing as a double. So that would be the only Amazon play. Once you get the mid, especially if we get the pop in the markets going into Thanksgiving, above 92.08, 94.04, 95.02, 96. That's about the only, and that would be a short-term bullish play back to the daily rotation zone only. Other than that, we've stalled out at the 89.93 harmonic. You see here stalling out there. We return to the 87.5. Anywhere in here, I'm watching for a more significant bottoming play. We just don't have it yet. And then longer term, I mean, if we roll over again, I would not be keeping a loose stop if you're trying to play this bullish side. We'll below 88. Your next support level between harmonics and the full turnaround from your COVID lows is back at 80, which is major support. You break that, 73.41. And I'm still expecting, after we get some potential bounce out of the way, another pretty big rollover play in Amazon. So longer term, I'm still bearish on it. Oh, look, it's a bargain now. PDE only 83 bucks, especially with the contraction in web services stuff going on. The recessionary consumers will have to dial it back, especially after this holiday season. And they're only moneymakers web services, so it could get interesting in the medium term for Amazon. Meta. Again, you're sitting against key support area. I'm still watching more so back down to longer term to the 64 area. Short term, there's no great bottoming pattern yet. On a breakout above about 100, I'd be looking for a potential reconnection with 110. And a partial gap fill if you did get a more bullish move because people rushed in to buy something. If the NASDAQ strengthens up, my maximum target would be about 124. But again, you're trading against the longer term key stuff. You're trading back into the weekly rotation zone against prior major support becoming resistance. So anything to the long side in some of these stocks is a nimble trade only. And you're trying to catch a short-term bottom. P-dubs going to Red Lobster. I didn't know they still existed. I don't think there's a Red Lobster near me. Anywhere. I fear the crab shortage will get worse. Get crabs while you can. You heard it here first. Get crabs while you can. Hey, Adam. Oh, boy. Sorry. Dog's going nuts in the background. Yes, you have a potential little double on Tesla. Hope you can hear me. Your play. Can you hear me? I had to mute my microphone. Your little play above 195.20 against the key harmonic, actually trapped between the bottom key harmonic and that other harmonic cluster. That's a little pop play, which would actually take us out of this cycle bottom and oversold condition. Not even back to the full rotation zone though, but you're looking at the targets, which could even be possibly rolled into a slightly bigger target back to that 200 area or 205 possibly, but your target's 198.50, 190, 200, and 201.46. Finance. Oh, I'd have to look it up in here. Here's your little S&P 500. Let's just see. It's essentially hit that target above your 200. Let me just see right here. If it gets above the 200, your topping area is between this 583 and 596. I'd keep an eye in the short term on this little potential double top. You got substantial overhead resistance with that 200 area. So that's the only thing I'd be watching in case that triggers for a pullback. Other than that, let's take a look at the weekly. Stalling against the 50-week. You have a major overhead resistance in financials. Just keep that in mind. See, look at that right at the 87.5, this breakdown area. Breakdown, retested. And if you say, well, boy, it might be a little higher with your resistance zone because of this top and this top, fine. But you're still between that 87.5, 100. So you have major overhead pressure right there. It'd have to really get a move going before I could get a bullish and treat this as key support again. So I'd just be cognizant of that on any push higher in financials. Christo. Oh boy. Oh, you guys are wearing me out. We're going to have to handle some of these at a later time. I mean, I'm going on an hour right now. Yeah, we'll see. Where is Rich? Good night, George. Do you have any companies that pay dividends each month? Do I have any? Not that pay each month. I don't think I have any. No, I don't have any companies that pay dividends each month. Let's see. I'm going to have to wrap this up pretty shortly. I gave Disney, didn't I? I gave my Disney targets. We did that. The breakdown, we already went through this. XLC communications. Yeah, XLC will get a reversal. I went over this in the weekly sector overview. It's still in bearish mode tremendously. Everything would be just a short-term bottom pick for me. By the way, Verizon, I did have this double, which is now finally, this triggered it, but it's reconfirmed trigger here. Would not ignore, though, this 39 aggressive stop raise at 39. Why? Because it's the first target and the 50 exponential. And second target is right by here. So I think I covered this, didn't I? I swear I covered Verizon the other day. Yes, you do have some upward bias, but this would then lead to another potential rollover play. And your major resistance, if you're trying to roll that double into something more, 41, 41.15 with the declining weekly. Would not get greedy with that Verizon play. Can you look at SPY 385 November 9th calls? I can't. I don't have my trading platform up right now. And I'm not dragging it onto the screen because last time I did that, I didn't black out my account number. That's not smart. To go on YouTube and not accidentally black out your account number. I'd have to look at the call information, but you do, again, you have pretty major resistance up here, right above here. I'll have to look at that. I'll go over my spider targets tomorrow morning. I want to see the overnight S&P price action. If you want some on a break above, I'll just give it, since I have it up on the screen, a break above 384.20 area. My key target, if we get on major rally mode tomorrow or the next day, is 389. The breakdown play, if we get something disastrous below 377.72, 374.57, 373, 371.39. Those are the key things right now. Can I start a paid room for a couple hours a day? Unless I were to do it during lunch, it would be super expensive because I'm focused on other stuff. And if I'm focused on a room, I'm not focused on my stuff. That's the problem I have with it. I really despise trading rooms. Oh, you want a Caterpillar? Then I'm going to wrap it up. You know what? Caterpillar. Not been able to close against that level yet. From a long perspective, I'd be trailing a stop. And from an upside, I'd still keep utilizing this 236 target, 236 to 237 target area. But the key area I'd be watching is below 224. You could start getting another pullback. So from a trailing perspective, I'd be utilizing in the short term 224. All right. Mike, be sure to tell your wife what I said about her taste and give her the puppy's eyes. Maybe get some sympathy. I don't get much sympathy. If she needs puppy eyes, she goes to the 5 dogs. All right, you're welcome, Roll Palms. I got to skip some of this. I'm running out of energy, and I have to deal with some stuff now. You're welcome, Christoph. Again, everybody, if I didn't get to something, please tune in. Keep stock picks to the afternoon sessions. With that, I will wrap it up for this evening. Again, thank you everyone for being here. And I shall see you. Anybody who can attend the live stream tomorrow morning will get some more clarity from the midterms, hopefully, by tomorrow morning. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now.